It's usually special when it stars Hawks. And now, these Central Division rivals head-to-heads are more on equal footing as both teams skate, take the body, and have game breakers who are always capable of highlight reel moments. One more time for old time's sake then, for two teams who seem to bring out the best in each other. Dallas Stars look to keep motoring along. They've won 6 of their last 8. Tonight they're at home and they host the Chicago Blackhawks. There's as much Blackhawk red as victory green in the stands tonight for the final meeting between these two teams this season. Hi, welcome to Dallas Stars Hockey. Along with Darryl Ray, I'm Ralph Strangis, and the Stars are on the outside looking in because they play in a division where everybody is over 500. Play within that division has not been good enough.
Follow me here. They're the best, worst team in the league's 4 divisions because they've had an awful time beating the teams within their division. That's why they sit last in the Central. And especially here in this building, they've only won 1 game against the Central here at home. That stings. The guy, though, that has been most productive for them against their own division has been the captain, Jamie Benn. No surprise there. He sits top 10 in NHL scoring overall. Not a ton of goals against the Central. Actually, 3 of the 4 came in 1 game, a hat trick against the St. Louis Blues up in the Show Me State. But he has provided a ton of assists, 16 assists and 20 points in the 25 games against them. So he's certainly done his part, and he's been very good against these Blackhawks in the season series. A point-a-game guy against them and all the other stuff that he provides. So he's done his best. Now it's time for the rest to step up and add something to this.
Chicago Blackhawks have stepped up. They've been like a lion in March after losing Patrick Kane in late February. Razor, it doesn't seem to matter.
No, it doesn't, because the Kane-less Hawks have surprisingly been painless, if you will. You know, they've won 8 of 10 with him out of the lineup. He broke his clavicle or his collarbone when he was shoved into the boards. They hope to get him back for the conference final if they get that far. He was leading the NHL in scoring when he got injured, and he has annihilated the Stars in recent seasons. So who has stepped up and filled the void for them? Well, Captain Sirius, Jonathan Toews, their captain. Look at the numbers on him and the games that Kane has been out. 6 goals, better than a point a game, and all the other stuff that Toews provides for the Hawks. He's skating and executing extremely well. He takes a boatload of face-offs for them. He's terrific without the puck. One of the best, if not the best, two-way center iceman in the game. And down the middle is really their strength right now. They go with him, the newcomer Vermette, and Richards. That's a tough 1-2-3 down the middle of the rink.
Dallas Stars would like to get a little something more out of their number 2 line. When we come back, we'll put Jason Spezza and company in the spotlight. Dallas, inside the American Airlines Center tonight, the Dallas Stars and the Chicago Blackhawks. Here's your goaltenders.
Kari Lehtonen is 5-1 with a no decision over his last 7 starts, and he's looked sharp. Corey Crawford hasn't lost in regulation in his last 7 games, 6-0-1 with just 8 goals allowed.
Tyler Seguin leads Dallas with 32 goals this season. He's second to Ben with 63 points. He missed 10 games. 3 goals in 6 games since his return. He also put an assist up as well. And Seguin and the Stars, a little bit of this is without Tyler, but they've won 6 of their last 8. They've gone from 9 points back of a playoff spot to 8 points back of a playoff spot. That's how difficult it is. Other games have concluded already today. There are some going on tonight that affect the race. The Chicago Blackhawks, 43 wins, 92 points. They're 3rd in the Central, 2 points back of Nashville, 4 points back of the Blues, the Central Division leaders, and they have games in hand, and we've got an official with a helmet issue. Jean Hebert is getting it looked after.
Kevin Dineen, the assistant coach of the Hawks, already lobbying for calls early. Got a buckle issue over there? He's revved up to get this thing going. Well, this Stars club's trying to keep the roll going that they have going right now. You know, it's not like they've pounded teams. They've just been better. There's a skosh better, if you will, in the last 8. Special teams has been a big part of the equation. Their defensive game overall has been as good as it's been all season. Lindy Ruff's looking over going, what is the deal here? He's peeking over at their bench. finally gets to face the Hawks with his team fresh again. 3 straight second games of back-to-backs in Chicago against them. And the other time they had him fresh, everybody was fresh, was the first game of the regular season here. So he expects a blistering pace if they ever get going, and knows that they'll need some saves the Hawks can create, and they'll need some goal-mouth execution at the other end. On the other bench is Joel Quenneville. He has some carrots dangling in front of the Hawks. They're 4 points back of St. Louis for the Central Division lead, 7 back of Anaheim with 3 games in hand. They have designs on the President's Trophy for the most points overall in the league. Oh, he's got his bucket. He has his bucket. Denny Sotart to the rescue.
Much to the delight of the sellout crowd here at the American Airlines Center tonight. Quenneville's Hawks and Lindy Ruff Stars ready to go. Cody Eakin, Jonathan Toews at center. Toews wins the faceoff. Duncan Keith out there with Michael Rosenbaum. Patrick Sharp, Marian Hossa, the wingers. For Captain Sirius, Jamie Benn pitches it out to center ice. He and Seguin flank Eakin. Jokipaka, Alex Goligoski, defensive pairing for Dallas. Seguin exploding after a puck. Keith getting there first in the Chicago zone. Hossa with a little chip ahead. Hossa's picked up his offensive pace lately too. Hawks shoot it in. Toews shoved off by Jokipaka. He goes back to engage Goligoski. Jokipaka's pass slithers toward the point. Hjalmarsson fires it, and it went outside the line.
Just by a little bit. Hjalmarsson takes an awful lot of the defensive load for their group. It's a good mobile defense. He gets a lot of those tough assignments. I suspect he'll see an awful lot of Benn and Seguin if they can get that matchup tonight. But, of course, the home side gets the last change. So if Lindy Ruff wants to work him away from them against another pair, he can probably do so at least on stops.
Vermette, really good face-off guy. Fiddler beat him outside the line. Fiddler with Colton Sevier and Antoine Roussel. For the Stars, here's Roussel. Pass ahead to Sevier into the zone. Fighting through it. That's Kimmo Timonen who's plowed in the corner. Yep, that Kimmo Timonen. 40 years old. He hadn't played all year with blood clot issues. Hawks took a chance on him. He's in the lineup. Klingberg firing off Crawford and wide. Teravainen can't slip it past Nemeth. Back to the net. Sevier going to work it over to Roussel. It comes to the boards and out of the zone. Faber Teravainen overtaken by Bernd Fiddler. And Johnny Klingberg back to the puck. He'll give it to Nemeth.
Already seen a couple of great examples of Stars forwards tracking back and helping out. That first shift, it was Eakin on Toews. That time Fiddler.
Brett Ritchie, Curtis McKenzie going in after the puck in the corner. Horcock tried to shoot it. McKenzie whacked it away from Joachim Nordstrom, who plays it around the boards for Michael Rosenbaum. Pass ahead is off Nordstrom. Don Kruger up front for the Hawks against the Horcock trio with the kicks. Ritchie shoots it in. Crawford 8 feet to the left of his net. Angles it out the right to Demers, and that puck tipped by McKenzie wide. Rosenbaum blocked by Curtis McKenzie. There's 2 wingers for Dallas. Like to take the body. Shaw takes the puck. Has Kruger breaking. Back to Shaw. Letton got over it. Bickle from the boards put it in front. Stabbed away, but to the line for Seabrook. Kruger tried to center it, and that's behind Bickle, and now a penalty coming up against the Stars in front of their own net.
Well, this mini disaster all started, the genesis of it, just inside the Hawk blue line. All 3 forwards are deep. There's a pinch by Demers on the boards. The Hawks sniff it out. Shaw and Kruger change the point of attack. Kari Lehtonen gets just enough of this offering. Holds on it. Good stop. In tight on Shaw. In the aftermath of all that, though, the minor penalty on Demers, and the Hawks get the opening power play of the night.
Mid-pack overall, and like the Stars, way better on the road than they are at home with the man advantage. Here's Marian Hossa. Putting it into the corner, getting it back from Toews. Shot from Keith, deflected in off Jokipaka in front of the net. Puck battle. Ben took it away from Saad.
Manly hockey there. He tried to jump immediately on that face-off and get past Duncan Keith with the puck, and just about did for a shorty.
Patrick Sharp leads Chicago. He's not on the ice with 8 power play goals. 4 others had half a dozen. Shaw slipped it deep to Saad. Out of Marian Hossa, out to Keith. Gave it to Toews for a look. He missed the net. Hossa from the half wall, stepping past Fiddler to Shaw. Worked it away from Jokipaka. Fiddler helping Saad put that one to center. And then Keith's fighting it to deal with Roussel, who gives Taves a hit. Now he goes after Saad at the line. Nemeth cleans it up. Midway through the Demers power play, the Stars penalty kill 24 for 27 over their last 10 games. That's really good. Seabrook up ahead. Pass on the wing for Met. Lost the puck at the line. The Hawks are offside.
Well, Jamie Benn has been leading the NHL, Jordy's brother, there he is, in shorthanded points for most of the season. Right off this draw from the inside, he just bolts out on this one. Sees that he can maybe jump and poke. Reading what he wanted to do with that one, just about got there, and they're fortunate that they caved in underneath of him and covered up.
There's the aforementioned sharpshooter Sharp. He went into the corner, had it jostled away. Colton Sevier sends the Hawks chasing. Seabrook with the turn. Passing off to Vermette. Left it to Sharp. Back of the net, Teravainen. Slipped it away. Richards waiting for it at the line. Richards throws it out of play. That's not a penalty in the offensive zone.
It's good pressure by Dallas's forwards. Roussel earlier, that time Ben again for some puck errors. Well, as you enjoy a cold one tonight, remember Miller Time is coming up later in the game, brought to you by Pilsner Brewed, Miller Lite. Stars penalty killing has really gone up a notch. Just 2 power play goals allowed over the last 10 victories. That was at New York against the Rangers and against Pittsburgh.
It's not so bad for them to start with it. They seem to have a lot of confidence, and they build even more confidence with these kills. As Crawford settles, Demers steps on, and they've killed another one. Duncan Keith leads the Hawk blue line in scoring. 41 points, 8 of them goals. He shoots it in. Jokipaka, Hossa came together. Sharp brushes it out to Rosenbaum. No problem for Letton. Taught it to the corner. Here comes Hemsky. Spezza and Eves, that second line we talked about in the spotlight. Hemsky takes the line. Shifting away from Keith, goes back to the net. Hemsky lays it out. Nemeth's shot off the mark.
Boy, Eves was left all alone in front. Rosenbaum had moved away from him.
Rosenbaum moves to this puck. Takes Eves' shoulder, punched it out to center ice. Hossa over to Sharp. Lindbergh was waiting on him. Stars are back for the puck.
Everybody was waiting on it. Literally every star on the ice was back there defensively.
Versteeg gave it to Hjalmarsson, and he shoots it in. All the way around the boards. Popped up Brad Richards. Former star, former New York Rangers. He had the lone goal at Madison Square Garden. Hawks last game, 1-0 win, and another penalty coming up against Dallas. Hjalmarsson will tic-tac-toe over to Versteeg. And there's the whistle.
Well, both refs had their arms up on this one. Tim Peel and Jean Hebert. And the captain's going to get a seat. Along the boards with Big Bickle. And you can see as he tried to lift the stick, he clipped him right in the lips. So as good as the Stars penalty killing has been, and we've documented this over the years, you start stacking up power play opportunities for the other side, bad things usually happen. And a penalty killer off the ice. And then
shots 2-1 Chicago, 5.5 minutes into the first period, and their second power play. Fiddler and Taves into the corner for Demers. Up the boards, Keith holds it in to Saad, stepping forward, shooting it, save Letton.
Saad looked like he kind of got in between. Boy, it is fractious in front of the net with Shaw. He and Roussel have had a few tussles the last couple of seasons at one another. Good work by Jordie Benn to come out on this one. Saad had to kind of measure it for a second, and by the time he pulled the trigger, he kind of shot it against the grain and right into the pelvis of Kari Lehtonen, who smothered that one. He's played well. He and his partner, Jordie Benn, singled out by Lindy Ruff. The Demers-Benn duo on defense, playing above.
Keith Hossa moving in, firing pass, stop Lehtonen.
Good one, too.
Angled it away from Taves. Sevier on the backhand, all the way to Crawford.
Lettman checking his stick after that one, the stick blade. He got beat by a Keith shot from about that same spot in game number 1 here.
Taves hoisting it in on the backhand. Goligoski unwinding it, but right to Taves. He'll bank it out to Keith, who slides to the right point. Gave it to Taves. Shaw's in front of the net, and Keith can't hold it in at the line. 1:15 remaining on the power play. Taves, their de facto scoring leader, with Kane on the shelf. Teravainen does a full spinorama. Shaw lost his glove, finds it. Taves tried to pass it over, and Jordie Benn blocks it out of the zone.
That's at least 3 times that they've been able to work that puck over here to the right wing side, but they don't one-time it. They wait, dust it off for a second. It allows the Stars to set up and Kari Lettinen to get over there and get ready.
Richard shoots it in off Vermette. Jordie Benn back of the net. Bouncing it away from Seabrook and down the ice, and Horcoff will race Richards for the puck. Richards in there, backhanding it forward to Teravainen. Makes the turn with 35 left on the man advantage. It takes the Dallas line. Gave it to Vermette. He's bounced along the boards. Goligoski clears.
Well, the good out of this is obvious. We're well on their way to killing back-to-back power plays, but the bad is that it takes some of the individuals who don't kill penalties for the Stars completely out of this game. We're working our way toward 8 minutes into this hockey game, and some guys just haven't played.
Versteeg stops. Eakin takes the puck away real slickly, and then he just shoots it down the ice. 2 for 2 without breaking a sweat on the penalty kill for the Stars. Helmerson, the Swede, bouncing it in. The Finnish goaltender, Kari Lettinen, will send us to our first break. 12:24 remaining in the first period. Lettinen's had good help from his penalty killers to keep the game scoreless at American Airlines Center in Dallas.
No score here, about 8 minutes into the conflict between the Stars and the Blackhawks. Jason Spezza jumped out with that TV timeout, along with some others. A little burn. The restless leg syndrome had set in. There are 4 forwards for the Stars that have played 1 shift so far in the game because of the penalty trouble. We're 8 minutes in. We'll shake it out a little bit, and here we go.
Spezza and Richards. Richards rather breezily back out to the line. Helmerson and Oduya go back for the puck. Richards tips that in. Lettinen. And we'll start again from his left.
Kari with his 4th straight 30-win campaign in the 82 game ones. You can't really mix in the lockout shortened ones. Tough to win 30 when you only play 48 total, but for all the ebbs and flows and ups and downs and whatever else, Crawford's close to it as well. Pretty impressive.
9-2-2 in his last 13 decisions. Kari Lettinen is 2. Helmerson, trouble with McKenzie. Horcoff worked that puck free. Jordie Benn on to Ritchie, and Brad Richards shot it out.
Jordie was trying to get that all the way down behind the goal line to where McKenzie was. That layers to the defending of the Hawks, and it's been really good with them lately.
Jordie Benn takes the line. McKenzie following it up. Shot at Crawford. Overhand catch at his head.
He's protecting the glabella right between the eyes on the forehead there. It was a spiffy glove save right in front of his mask. Take the line. Boom. No rebound there. And a hard, hot shot from the top of the circle. The other guys on that forward line trying to get interior position, and they were there for it, but there was no rebound.
Eakin and Shaw in the Chicago zone. Benn following that puck. Oduya might have got some of it. Nemeth leads for Jamie Benn. Benn shooting off Shaw's stick. Side of the net. Sagan couldn't steer it home. He takes it away from Oduya. Works it back out to Nemeth. Klingberg tried to move it in one motion. Didn't have all the puck. Eason's pass got forward. Nordstrom looking to get it back from Shaw. Nemeth sealed it up. Emerson shot, save, rebound, loose. Nordstrom fired it wide. Shaw threw it back out front. And Benn to Eakin at center ice. He does not get the center red line. That's icing against Dallas after a frantic couple of moments.
Well, Stars had good possession down at the other end first. Tyler Seguin went right to the front of the net after that opening bid by Benny. He had a stick in the air. Hey, me, get it to me. They could never get the puck through, though. Hawks were in the lane, and then down at the other end, I think this has been what Kari Lehtonen has done extremely well lately. Battle in traffic in front, keep his legs flared, and a lot of fight on those second and third opportunities.
Keith looking for an alley, firing. Lehtonen shot out the right leg, kicked it aside. Nemeth got there ahead of Hossa. Ben off Keith. He's alone. The Chicago zone. Bending off Taves, put it into the slot right to Hossa. Up the wing to Taves. Goligoski turns to take the Hawk captain back in the net. Hemsky there for the puck. Bangs it forward. Eves gave it to Jokipaka. Goligoski over the line. To Eves, a shot, he scores! That line's on the board.
Well, that is how you matriculate your way up the ice. Goligoski, a big part of this. Stars defenseman jumps up with the rush. And Patrick Eves, who, again, I'm so impressed with the way he releases the puck, jumps in and boom. No big drawback, nothing. Just elevates it in interior and whips it back. Boom, upstairs. There was an option to go to Hemsky. He had Corey Crawford befuddled. Perfect pass by Goligoski to lead him. He does the rest. Shot it dirty under the bar and in.
Patrick Eves' 9th goal of the season. Goligoski, and I think Hemsky gets the second assist. 1-0 Dallas. Eves has 9 goals, by the way, in 37 games. That's about a 20-goal pace. Here comes Roussel. Fiddler at the line. Vern Fiddler backing off Timonen. They both go to the corner. Fiddler, Bell, Seabrook, Teravainen. It is Jokipaka with the second assist and not Hemsky. But in any case, the Stars are up 1-0. Sevier floating on in to Harkop, a shot into the glove. Crawford had already committed himself. Midway through the opening period, the Stars kill 2 Chicago power plays that Patrick Eves strikes to give the Stars a 1-0 lead.
I'll be honest, from 50 feet away and in makeup, I was somewhat surprised that Patrick Eves got pulled out of the lineup. Ryan Garbutt got in. They've got some numbers now with the Stars. He's back in here tonight and has opened the scoring on the rush. Stars might be the best team in the league off the rush, and he's on the business end of that as he goes bar down in tight. Decent numbers against these Hawks.
And he adds there. Patrick Nemeth looking for his first. He has 1 assist in his brief NHL career. Nordstrom ahead to center ice. Klingberg stopped him at the line. Shaw carries on. Shot it, save Lehtonen, and he'll hold it.
Good rebound control. Nordstrom, who played with Klingberg on the young Swedish national team, just rocked him right at the end of the bench as they try to push back. It looks pretty nasty. It looks like especially that line trying to challenge the Stars a little bit right in front of Kari Lehtonen and looking for some garbage around there. Again, the Hawks haven't exactly been exotic offensively. It's been their defensive game that has held them in and helped them go 8-1-1 in their last 10.
1-4 straight coming in. It's up in the Dallas zone. Eakin besting Brad Richards. Out to Tyler Seguin at center ice. Seguin to Ben. Gets the pass. Hjalmarsson. And Jordy whips it around the boards. Crawford's left. Hawks changing Fickle. Rink wide to Versteeg. He has a step. Pumps it. Save Lehtonen.
A lot of windmill netminder glove saves in this one. There's a high degree of Saucy and Tart from these two, who both have goals against averages over 3 in the season series. It has not been a low-scoring season series between the Hawks and the Stars. The shooters have had the better of it, if you will. 2 good guys. I like Crawford because he's one of those individuals who seems to put up a wall when the game is in the balance. And Kari might be playing his best goal of the season right now.
And it's in Kari's zone. Brad Richards wins it. Hjalmarsson fired it. Sevier blocks it. Roussel tries to chip it and go. Roussel tried to chip it and go at the line. Sevier kicked it over. Antoine was trapped. Dallas takes up Johnny Oduya. Whipped it forward. It skips away from Fiddler to Richards, who had to twirl to find it. Pumped by Roussel at center ice. Jordie Benn weaving his way over. Jordie left it. Fiddler shot it. Oduya blocks. Vern Fiddler to Colton Sceviour back of the net. Goes straight up, back down. Oduya straightened it out. Seabrook pitching it along the boards. Demers trying to hold it in. Up the boards, out to center ice. Richards in check. Fiddler will take over. Hossa in for a peek. Jordie Benn, who's got his skating legs again tonight. Rink wide and deep for Hemsky. Walks away from Keith, only to find Seabrook. Eves probing. So's Jokipaka. Vicky now has 10 points this season, all of them assists. Goligoski's going to beat Hossa to the puck in the Dallas zone, but a collision follows. Jokipaka pushed around Hossa. Hemsky lays it out to center ice. Spezza drops it for Jokipaka. Flipping it deep for the change. Avery Teravainen almost turned it over in a bad spot. They get it through. Saad's got 21 goals. And he's got the puck. Teravainen, Seabrook shot it, deflected. Nemeth played it to the corner. Nemeth has it again. Good pass ahead to Horcoff. Out come the Stars. Horcoff will pitch it in. Going over, teaming it back of the net. McKenzie throwing a hit on Seabrook. Puck pumped back into the Dallas zone. Jason Demers back for it. Got 7-4 Hawks. 7 minutes to play in the first period. 1-0 Dallas on Patrick Eves' ninth. Sagan from the corner. Centered it. Benn unable to find it. Jordie leaving it for his younger brother, the Dallas captain. To check from Joachim Nordstrom. Kruger put it back in his own net. Eakin slides through the hit from Oduya. And his pass was tipped off the mark.
He was anticipating, I think, that Demers was going to be in that little hole there, and Demers had peeled off the blue line to go deeper into the attacking end. Game of interchangeable parts.
Collection of players in the corner to our right. Kruger wins it out to Roseball. Keith firing. Knuckleball well wide.
They like that a lot. Have a player going back door to the net and try to hit him. Didn't click on that one.
Middle of the ice, Kruger swung and missed. Nemeth lays it behind Roussel. Tibbetts takes it over, drops it to Sceviour. Cuts to the middle, passes to Klingberg. Back out to Nemeth, firing! Crawford didn't see it.
He had hit Roussel in the back in front of the net.
Fiddler drops it deep. Roussel or Vern Fiddler got away from Richards, only to find Keith. Sceviour back of the net. Hawks keep him forced to the outside. Sceviour tried to move it to the inside. And Bickle to Versteeg, now to the Dallas line. Versteeg shot blocked by Nemeth. Roussel tried to twist it away from Richards. Sealed off by Nemeth back of the net. Klingberg flipped it up the near side, but right to Seabrook. Got people in front. He'll lay it off to Versteeg. Passing it to Richards. Backhand feed blindly, and Fiddler's able to clear that.
See the Stars break into man-on-man there. Klingberg was way up top. Tiemann and the weak side defenseman had broke to the net. Couldn't get him the puck.
Jokipaka to Spezza. And to hurl that one over and then gets it over the line. Eves, Hemsky moving in with the dangle. Back to the net, setting up. Hemsky takes a step to the corner. Hossa falls. Spezza. And a penalty coming up against Chicago.
Hjalmarsson for hooking.
Dallas has killed 2 Chicago Blackhawk power plays. They've scored at even strength, and they get their first look with the man advantage up 1-0 late in the...
Key juncture here for the Stars. Nick Hjalmarsson is maybe their best penalty killer on their side. Real valorous shot blocker. He's in the box. Peels off, goes after Spezza in the cycle down in the corner, and for a second gets a one-hand touch on the hands, gets nailed for hooking.
Way better on the road than they are at home, but they are dangerous, the Dallas power play. John Klingberg back for the second straight game, too, after missing 3. But the Hawks' second best penalty killing in the league.
And a
roll again, too. Klingberg up ahead. Finding Seguin. Got it away from Oduya. Down the boards for Brett Ritchie. Ritchie tossing it out to Klingberg. They work the line, hand it back to Seguin. Seguin couldn't dig it out to shoot it. Now he retrieves the puck. Klingberg. Spezza. Hit by Van Sate. Rebound. Seguin scores. Tyler Seguin makes it 2-0.
He's got quick hands, and that fell perfectly to him. The kid, 42, Nordstrom up top, almost steals the puck away from him, and then he forgets about him. Covering Ben in the slot. Rebound hops right to the lurking Tyler Seguin. The tip fouled up. Crawford, who made a great save on the initial bid. Multitasking in tight. Rolling puck, doesn't matter. Spanks it through Seabrook and over Crawford.
Seguin's 33rd and personal record 11th power play goal. Jamie Benn and John Klingberg with the assists.
That's just a great sign overall. He leads the Stars with now 18 goals and 34 points here on home ice. However, the last half dozen at American Airlines Center, both sides of the injury, just a couple of assists for Seguin. So to get him back in the goal department's big.
Stars lead 2-0 then on goals from Patrick Eaves and Tyler Seguin. They have just 5 shots against the Hawks. Letton out of his net. Goligoski has an assist in the game. Sevier having trouble with Taves. Jokipak in front of his own net. Now to Sevier. Into the zone, he'll shoot it in deep. Rosenball takes the hit from Sevier, got it over to Keith. Rink wide, Teravainen. Crafty little guy, shot it, saved Letton. Rebound, Teravainen, Letton fought back.
That right pad's tough.
Hemsky protecting the puck. Demers goes back of his net. Jordy Ben on one leg, awkwardly positioned, ices it.
Well, little Teravainen's getting an opportunity to play in their top 6, their top 2 lines, their offensive sets more with Patrick Kane out. More a playmaker than a goal scorer. He dangles his way down the right wing side, follows up his own bit. Jordy Ben has to eliminate him instead of watching his netminder after the initial shot. He walks right around him, and Kari Lettonen's right pad stones him again. Bang, bang.
Tie up in the corner. Kari Lettonen's left under 3 minutes to play in the first period. Good opening frame for the Stars. Teravainen gave it away to Spezza. The high flip to center ice. Oduya getting there first. Clearing hits Eaves. Vermette goes back into his own zone. Elmerson got it up, and here comes Saad. Changing gears, left it. Vermette shot blocked by Klingberg. Nemeth fed it ahead. Seguin dodges a hit. Eaves takes it over. Patrick Eaves hanging on, firing, blocked. Chicago would like to go in transition. Go they will. Versteeg gives it to Keith. Keith could fix his pocket, shot it ahead. Seguin was on his way to the bench for a change. He'll have to stay on this icing.
Well, it's wonderful the Stars have scored a couple of goals, but it's their defending game that has really taken it up a notch. Watch this last couple of plays, and you'll see Ales Hemsky and everybody else in Victory Green close in on one quadrant of the ice. 1, 2, 3 guys in the corner. The forward up top. There's Hemsky closed on that. You got everybody in one corner. It's a swarm. They win the puck that way. And then when Nemeth pinches up in neutral ice, number 90 is Jason Spezza coming back to give him no free lane to the net as Saad tried to walk in. That's good defending.
Richards thought he had it. Jokipak jumps it. Out he comes to center ice. And Yerke will stash it in for the Dallas change off the icing. Crawford paddles it over. Seabrook up ahead. Versteeg surveying his options. Cross to Tiemann and push it in deep. Jokipak, the back of his net. Taking the contact, moving the puck. Goligoski over the line. A lot of room. Worked it in front. Backhand chance by Sevier. St. Crawford.
Wow, Stars just poured in over the line. There was no back checking and back pressure from the Hawks.
It looked wrong. Tiemann makes the turn. Chicago's changing. Fiddler gets over in front of the bench, but it is installed by Nordstrom. 80 seconds to play in the first period. Fiddler winding it up. Olszewski with the pass off. Ritchie to Fiddler, driving in. Fiddler, shot, save Crawford. Shot of the line. Jordy Ben has to back up to defend Nordstrom. Takes the man in front of the Dallas bench. Off the bench, here come the Stars. Horcock taking it over. McKenzie bowling to the net. McKenzie reaching out. He's tripped by Shaw. A penalty coming up.
The Stars have their skating game going, and boy, McKenzie's getting up in some discomfort after that. The earlier shift when they hit the Hawk line with a Hurd in green. Up they come. Hawks were trying to change in the background. 1, 2, 3, backed off. Big gap. I think Timonen still trying to get his footing back in the NHL again. Really backed off. Crawford's made some great saves here in the first period. He's allowed 2. Boy, Roosevelt clipped Vern Fiddler right in the lips after that, too. Then the penalty in front. Drive the net. Stick on the ice. Pulled down. McKenzie puts the Stars power play back on the job.
They're 1 for 1. Spezza, Ritchie, Eaves, and Klingberg. Up shot out. Klingberg holding it in. Spezza from the half wall. Klingberg turning it out to Spezza. Ritchie's in front of Crawford. Spezza angling to the corner, tried to center his pass. Keith took it away. Spezza wrestling to get it back. On top to Klingberg. Passing to Eaves. A shot. Tipped over the top of the net and out of play.
I think it might have gone up to mask of Crawford, where they had the Hawks penalty kill severely scrambling. And chip paint, beautifully painted up. Logo on the forehead. Either rode a stick or rode the top of his melon. Changed the point of attack. Nah, it did. Caught, I think, a piece of Hjalmarsson and then up over top.
Face off to Crawford's right. Stars win it again. Klingberg. Kruger was chasing. Spezza shot at pad stop. Rebound. And Eaves was denied. And then it came in front. Seabrook batted it to the boards. 10 seconds left in the period. Klingberg. Pass ahead to Spezza. Now to Klingberg with 5. Klingberg leaving it. Turned over. Cleared. But nice first period for the home team.
No Tyler Seguin for the last segment of that. Or this last power play segment, because he left early, but a pretty fabulous opening frame for the Stars here on home ice. Could have been more. They came close again on the power play. Brett Ritchie was all alone in front. The concussive rebound off the upper torso of Crawford. That's how they scored their power play goal early. This one off his shoulder, back out in front. I think Ben messed up Ritchie more than the Hawks did on that one.
Now the Stars have won 4 of their last 5, 6 of their last 8, and trying to hang around in the Western Conference. They got the mighty Hawks here tonight. Goals from Patrick Eaves and Tyler Seguin have Dallas up 2-0. Key on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Ford. It's Ford Truck Month at your best in Texas Ford dealer. Visit TexasFord.com for details. And by the Mazda 6, J.D. Power has awarded the Mazda 6 the highest-ranked vehicle appeal among mid-sized cars. Dallas Stars lead the Hawks 2-0 after 20 minutes. We head to the second, and we're looking toward next year. Season tickets for the 2015-16 season are on sale now. Full season tickets offer the best seats at the best price for every Stars game, plus great benefits throughout the season, including a private event at Six Flags. We had a lot of fun with that last year. Love to see you there. 214-GO-STARS to reserve your season ticket today. And he's back on the ice.
Yeah, a sigh of relief on the Stars side. Whatever was bugging Tyler Seguin has been rectified. He's back out here, a little stretch, a little burn. Check it out. The Stars leader in power play goals back on the job.
Another thing to kind of watch down the stretch, the Stars have not had a 40-goal scorer since Mike Modano popped 50 in the inaugural season, 93-94. Sagan picked up his 33rd tonight. 10 games remain after tonight. Stars on a power play to open the second period. They're 1-for-1 in the game. They lead 2-0. Spezza cranks it in. Ritchie tried to arrest the puck along the boards. Nordstrom unable to sneak it past Sagan. Flipped it on to Spezza. Shooting it. Just missed. Ritchie holding it. Got it out to Klingberg. Moved it over to Sagan. Tyler firing. Crawford the stop. Gunnarsson. Run off. Spezza. Back to Klingberg. Passing to Ben. Jammed him with the pass. It was knuckling. Ben with 2 hawks. Gets a little help from Ritchie and Spezza. Working it away. Sending it off the goaltender. Ritchie tried to wrap around and it's cleared. 15 seconds left on the Shaw hooking minor. Early in the second period. Klingberg with an assist tonight. NHL's highest scoring rookie defenseman, John Klingberg. Ales Hemsky couldn't get past Oduya, and that'll finish it. Stars are 1-for-2 on the power play.
Boy, they had a grade A opportunity, though, generated. The youngster Nordstrom couldn't get it out. Good keep by the Stars.
Goligoski finds Eakin off the bench. This is Dallas's period, by the way, second periods. Vermette awkwardly steered it over to Seabrook, banked it past Jokipak. Vermette pursuing Goligoski. One of the late season ads for the Hawks. Sevier. Long toss ahead. Eakin falls at the line. Keith backhands it ahead. Teravainen caught by Sevier. Saad will take it over. Demers, step for step, centering feed. They had Vermette in front. Holt, Sevier, bumped it off the boards. Kimmo Timonen shot it right to Jyrki Jokipaka. And Roussel couldn't step past Hjalmarsson at the line. He does come in deep in the zone. Pulls up in the corner. Tossing it back to Eakin. Got away from him. Saad slipped it forward for Steve. Hjalmarsson from center fires it in. Butland got some, not all. Versteeg out to Keith, had to turn his hands. Roosevelt pumps it. Blocked in front. Chip forward. Versteeg fires wide. Keith dealing it away to Bickle. Finding Roosevelt. Richards snapped it out to Versteeg. Leaving it for Keith. Cross to Brad Richards. Firing. Blocked by Jordy Ben. Bickle out of the corner. Hawks with an extended stay here in Dallas ice. Keith threw it away, and Eaves turned to get it, pitched it right at Kevin Dineen.
Well, no Dallas Star has missed the net more than Jason Spezza this season. He's in triple digits, and he misses on a quality opportunity after the keep in along the boards, turns it in and rips it. Catches glass high on the short side on Corey Crawford. Not by much. Just a flinch from Crawford. That would be his 100th missed shot. Remember Jamie Benn, that was his thing last year. You got to have lots of opportunities, and he hasn't missed by much on most of them.
After picking up points in 10 of 11, Spezza now has just 1 assist in his last 10 games. There goes Horcoff. That should be an interference penalty. Hjalmarsson just stepped right in front of him. Horcoff picks it off anyway. Deep. McKenzie just out of his reach, and it misses Goligoski as well.
I think that just ticked off the stick of Hjalmarsson. He's made a couple of real good defensive plays here early in the second.
McKenzie will try it again, one-on-one against Johnny Oduya. Back at the net, finds Ritchie. Shot it off Crawford. Alex Goligoski. Up high along the boards, Ritchie. Bucked up with Seabrook. Ritchie deep to Horcoff. Horcoff centered it. McKenzie backhanded it wide off Crawford. Seabrook's pass to Hossa intercepted. Taves has to circle back for the puck. Dallas will change. Jim Dandy looks on that shift. Shaw from center. Klingberg tips it. Spezza has it, and he wants Eaves, who's in behind Oduya. Eaves centered Hemsky. Dragging it back to the net.
The Hawks are just a mess in defending the Stars from behind the icing line here.
Klingberg shooting. And that tip wide. Hemsky centered it. Crawford steered it away. Spezza overskates at Kruger. They can finally get a couple of their guys off if they want. Nordstrom now coming to the Dallas line. He is engulfed. Nemeth had him. Eaves takes the puck. Keith on the ice. He'll have to chase, and here come the Stars. Eaves over the line. Shooting it. Save Crawford.
Once the Stars' defending speed on display there to get back. It was the patience of the veteran Sean Horkoff that generated that chance earlier. Grabs it in behind the net. Just waits on Oduya, and as soon as Oduya moves to him, he didn't have his skate sideways, so he's able to slip it to McKenzie in front. Went off of Crawford a little bit and fouled up Curtis McKenzie, who scored his first National Hockey League goal against that very goaltender. Tried to chunk a rebound past him and couldn't do it. They've been great, that trio, with Ritchie on the other side.
Vermette beats Eakin in the Chicago zone. Jordy Bennett center ice. Saad stripped it. Vermette trying to take off Demers, won't let him across.
Eakin was all over him coming back. That defending speed again.
Halverson out. Vermette backhanding it over. Terry Lettman back of his net. Gordy off Jamie, but not out of the zone. Vermette takes it all the way to center. Teuvo Teravainen slipped it on to Saad, gave it to Keith. All this happening at neutral ice. Saad finally begins the attack. Halverson deep. Saad in the corner. Demers wrestled him down to the ice. Eakin takes it back to the Dallas net.
Stars are just not giving them any space for free coming into their zone. None.
Outside Chicago line, Eakin nudged it over. Roussel sneaking in with Seabrook. Roussel foul, got it on to Sevier. Seabrook fighting back with Sevier. Fiddler coming in for Dallas. Out to Roussel. Shot it. Save Crawford. Rebound to Seabrook. Versteeg tips it out. Goligoski finding Sevier for a step. Sevier in. Sevier the Fiddler. And Crawford got his stick on the pass.
I don't think I've seen a more perfect guy get back out of the attacking zone at the same time they're moving back in than that one.
Now Seabrook again. Plankton off the boards. Bickle takes it over. Left it for Versteeg. Got it through to Richards from one knee. That's blocked out of play.
No room.
13:45 remaining in the second period. Stars up 2-0, and they're giving the Blackhawks very little at American Airlines Center.
The average is 1.9. It won't allow this one to get to 3 here. The Stars up 2-0. Their transition game, nice sequence. Colton Seavers on the business end of it. Fiddler hustled to get back out and get on side, and just a terrific stick play by Crawford. Sevier tried to whip this one back in front. There's the little poke check. No room to get it to Roussel, and Fiddler crashing the net.
Horkoff and Richards wrestle for the puck. Nemeth taking Bickle off his skates, and Sean Horkoff to the line. Bickle intercepts. In he comes. Shot it wide of the net. Klingberg passing through Ritchie's skates, and Seabrook will go back with Horkoff chasing him.
That's the difference. Early in the season, that turnover in the Stars zone results in a quality scoring chance. That time, it's not even a shot on net. They fold in underneath.
Ritchie had Bickle along the boards. It trips out to Spezza. Spezza. Backhand pass. McKenzie overskates the puck. And that looked like going to be a great scoring chance. Versteeg cranked it over. Nemeth has the puck. Stars want to go again. Pass to Spezza at the line. Eaves goes to the net. Spezza to Klingberg. Klingberg down to Hemsky. Tapped it wide. And a centering pass goes all the way back into Dallas ice.
Stars may be guilty of being a little too cute with their offense right now. They've scored on the power play with just a shot and a rebound. They could go back to that.
Sharp, always dangerous, so is Taves. Flanks it in deep. Hossa, 3 out there together. Hossa steps up, shoots it. Save Lettman.
Kills that dangerous little rotation. Well, both of the Hawks defensemen were literally standing at the bench. Brad Richards was the only guy back. And because of that, Spezza had a lane and was all by himself. He had trouble with the puck, I guess. It looked like he could just hit the gas and break to the front of the net. Maybe he spied McKenzie coming. He got it to McKenzie, who twice has been solo in front of Crawford here in the second period, and this time the kid just overskates it. Eaves, who scored in the game, already tries to twist that one in, and the long legs and toe skate of Corey Crawford keeps him at bay.
Face off to Letnin's left. Hjalmarsson backhanding it deep. Taves fighting with Goligoski. He can jump, couldn't find it. Goes in there with Taves in the corner. Ed Sharp, bad. Shooting it off the boards. This will be icing against Dallas.
They haven't spent any time in their own zone here in the second period. You mentioned earlier the second is the Stars period. No team has scored more goals in the long, short change second period, whichever way you want to look at it. It's been helped immensely by the power play. I think Lindy Ruff has done a terrific job utilizing that long change and at times short change if you're changing forwards in there. But the Hawks don't give up much in second periods.
It's the irresistible force.
It is.
Against the immovable object. Ben down the wing to Sagan. He's got a goal in the game. Shoulders with Oduya in the corner. Kruger lost it. Eakin on top to Demers. Jordy Van fires it. That's blocked. Hjalmarsson on his backhand and Nordstrom out to Shaw. Demers will cut him off at the Dallas line. Hooked ahead to Jordy Van. Looked up ice towards Sagan. Sagan threw his leg. Seabrook there to back it up out to Kruger at the Dallas line. Shaw carving his way in. Shaw firing. Blocked by Jordy Van.
A good play all around. Nice play by Shaw to protect the puck with his shin pad to get in there, and then obviously a great defensive play by Ben to bail out his partner.
Kari Lehtonen puts the clamps on this one, and this week, Kari like this, NASCAR makes its only trip to Southern California this year for the Auto Club 400, sponsored by KFC. Don't miss any of the action on Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
The Montreal Canadiens with Carey Price are the only team that's allowed fewer second period goals than the Hawks. They haven't mounted much of an attack here in the second period either, though they've been defending the whole time.
The Price has been pretty good. McKenzie going after the puck against Versteeg. Knocked him to the ice. He's fighting with Brad Richards. Bouncing puck away from Horcoff. Versteeg to Saad at center. Brandon Saad leaving it. Timo Timonen to Saad at the Dallas line. McKenzie takes the body. Nemeth the puck. Short feed to Ritchie. He overskates. Stays in the zone for Versteeg. Rushing it back to the net to Saad. Klingberg got in there to steal it. He flips it out. Ritchie trying to get there. Keith's on off the Chicago bench.
Barely. Almost an identical thing that just happened with Spezza in behind.
Versteeg lays it over, but Spezza came back into the zone, and his pass up the guts of the ice. Off the mark for Hemsky in on Crawford. Rozabal. Some trouble here. Eaves closing. Bolted back to the Dallas line. Jordy Ben turns it over. Teravainen into the zone. Teravainen stops. Wanted to swing it to Bickle. Takes a hit from Demers in the corner. And more battle along the board stuff. Vermette back at the net. He'll go to the far side. Swinging out to Rozabal. Working around the boards. Here comes Hemsky. Tapping it back to Demers. And out to center it goes. Eaves rushed it in against Rozabal. He pivots, gave it away to Hemsky. Hemsky into the zone. Hemsky getting a little cutesy. Now he'll hang on to Rozabal. Teravainen wanted to slip away with it, but Eakin finds the puck. Jokipaka shot to save Crawford. He's still looking for his first in the NHL. Maybe here. Save Crawford.
This is where the Stars have outchanged the Hawks again. That short change, if you will.
Five-man battle. Ben and Keith, primary combatants. Ben gets it out. Jokipaka to Sagan. Now to Ben. Fanned on it. Lost the puck. Jokipaka. Goligoski firing. Save Crawford. Bickle. Trying to rip it up. Goligoski with the keep. Ben tried to tip it over to Sagan. Finally, the Hawks clear.
Such a tired play by Bickle. They're not going to get their full change in here. Look at him. He's exhausted and useless right now.
Ben. Klornik and a shot, and he doesn't get it off. How many of those have they had?
Too many.
Taves back to the Dallas line. Chicago finally getting their full change in. That's their 18-11 Dallas in the game.
I don't think that really represents how badly they've outplayed the Hawks, especially here in the second period. They're doing more. The Hawks are standing still a lot.
Johnny Oduya from the left of his own net. Klingberg tried to hold Sharp at bay. Nemeth going back after the puck in the Dallas zone. 8:25 left in the second period. 2-0 Dallas. Berger, Hjalmarsson shot, tipped out of play. 8:18 then on the clock. In the second period, Stars have 18 shots on the clock, and they have 3 or 4 more that never get to Crawford, like this one from Cody Eakin. 2-0 Dallas.
The Panthers scores in the game, fights Kulikov as the payback for the hit on Seguin. That line and that kid in particular had an epic road trip in the East, along with Horkoff and Ritchie. You know, the stats don't pop out, just a couple of goals and 4 points in the month. But his presence and his impact has certainly been there. Again here tonight, trading paint, creating opportunities either for others, drew a power play for the Stars, and for himself getting to the front of the net. He's brash. He could have a couple in the game right now, maybe getting a little ahead of himself. It's quite a bit done in 6 minutes.
And they're back out there, that crew. The Dallas zone. Horkoff beating Brad Richards. Patrick Nemeth fending off for Steve. Couple with Richards, who finds the puck. Works it out to Seabrook at the line. Fired it. Saved. Rebound loose. Horkoff getting there. Nemeth and Klingberg were in front of the net. For Steve back of the goal. Pickles in front. Klingberg forcing him to the boards. Out to Oduya. Back of the net. Pickle. Out of Richards. Scored one from the corner earlier this season against the Stars.
There's no room for them, Mo, here tonight, especially in this second period.
Ritchie. The first around the net for Steve met him. Flanked it off the glass and out. Jokipaka. Richards was hounding him. Quick up from Goligoski. Spezza behind Oduya. Hemsky wanted to drag it and go. Goligoski on the backhand to Spezza along the half wall. Shot it off the side of the net. Rebound away from Hemsky. Keith over there. Shaw belting it out. And the Stars throw it back over. Jokipaka does.
It's interesting. The Hawks have pretty much wholesale changed their defensemen here in the second period. Been caught a few times because of it.
Saad with nowhere to go. Teravainen following up. Lettinen there for the ready.
That line's been pretty good for them in the game. They've got good depth. The Stars do too. Jason Spezza was talking about that this morning, that he put the Stars forward group up against any team in the league's 4 lines. And Lindy Ruff plays 4 lines. And they all believe that you have to play 4 lines in today's NHL. It's too fast and exhausting. And depth usually wins out.
Dallas's top crew here. Ben to try it with Taves. Taves wins it in the Dallas zone. Seguin went after Keith, forced the puck out.
They just have no time with the puck. The Stars have not allowed it.
Ben intercepting it. Walking his way in. Ben. Summerson stopped him. Eakin back to the net. Seguin's in front of it. He draws a crowd. Hawks pack it in front. Keith has the puck. Shot it off Hossa at center ice. Down the wing to Sharp. Goligoski, first man to it. Swung it over to Jokipaka. Away from Taves. Hjalmarsson pass. Hossa in. Hossa shooting. Save Lettinen.
Good one.
And Seguin pushes it forward. 3-on-2 as the Stars hit the line. Eakin to Seguin. Seguin to Eakin. Wide. Keith was hanging on him a bit. They've had an inordinate amount of scoring chances that have not hit the net. Here in the second period. Demers to Jordy Ben. Launching it out. Roosevelt stops it with the glove at center ice. See what Fiddler can manufacture. He's hooked at the line.
And their D have turned a lot of pucks over trying to get out of their own zone and been exposed on a lot of changes.
Shot from Timonen, save Lettinen. Roussel leaving it to Demers. Back to Roussel at center. Into the Chicago zone for Fiddler. Roosevelt reached out to shoot it out. Jason Demers with 5.5 left in the second period.
These chances in the second period that have gone for naught are either going to be something to laugh about after the game, or they're going to look back and they're going to say that was awfully costly.
Both goals in the first for Dallas. Lots of chances, but nothing here in the second. 2-0 Stars late in the second.
Perfect on 15 bids from the Chicago Blackhawks in the game. Real tart blocker save. Nice play by Hjalmarsson in neutral ice to spring him in transition. Look at his head. His head just tracks this right onto his blocker. This is tracking. This is focus. Stare it on, stare it away. Stars go in transition the other way, and second opportunity for Eakin that has gone nowhere here. Lindy's dying down there. Really?
He'll come skidding in on Lettman. He'll leave it for Klingberg, who lost Bickle. Pass ahead, off Horcock, Stieg, shooting wide.
Off the stick of Nemeth in front.
Cranked away from Taves to Ritchie. McKenzie at center ice. There's a stick and a pair of gloves at center. Horcock shooting it off Crawford's glove.
It was Brad Richards who took a stick in the face right off that draw.
Hulse's in the clear. Marian Hulse save Lettman.
Tried to go 5-hole. Kari's been fantastic at that here over the last 3 weeks. He saves at epic junctures of the game.
Keith forcing the issue. Hossa handing it to Sharp for a shot. Lettman finds it. Klingberg unable to get it past Sharp. Loose. And Taves will go find it in the corner.
I think Taves deflected it away from the glove and it almost rattled in.
There's Hossa. Hossa, Sharp, and Taves here, causing some trouble for the Stars. Keith, Taves pumps it weakly as he was falling down. Taves back on the puck, centered it. Hossa moved it over Sharp. Didn't get anything on it. He misses the net, and Klingberg ices it.
At the double clutch. You might see a timeout from Lindy Ruff here. Joel Quenneville, the coach of the Hawks, was able to get his top line out there against the kids. They were under all kinds of duress. Patrick Sharp has scored in just one game in the last month and a half. That's what happened right on the draw. It was his own teammate's stick that clipped Richards right in the face. Breakaway for Hossa. Been money on a lot of these against the Stars. Hampered a little bit, bridled some by Klingberg in behind, but he got the shot he wanted. You mentioned early on that's where he got touched up on that one just a little bit, looking 5-hole. He started poorly in that department, but what, 11 goals in the last 18 games for him? Sharp off the back door, gets this one to come to him. Hossa has him set up. Tough though, needed a lefty, not a righty on that side to one-time it. He double clutched and missed the net. Richards got his cheek punctured, it looks like.
Back up and smiling.
Speaking of Marian Hossa, our Ford leaderboard tonight, guys still playing with 20-goal seasons all tidy one after another. That's a pretty good little list. Yager, Iginla, and Hossa.
Shaw drops the shoulder after the timeout. Klingberg. Reinvigorated, up he comes. Pass ahead to McKenzie. Kids are on the move. McKenzie's pass blocked by Seabrook. Teravainen. Seabrook to the Dallas line. Want to bump it to Shaw. Ritchie overtakes, banks it off the glass, and at center ice, Patrick Eve shoots it in.
And the goaltending's been pretty good in the game, but I don't know the last time I saw more unvarnished finish than we've seen here tonight, especially in this period.
No question. Shaw, 2 spins to Rozabal. Hemsky out trying to block it. Lettman found it loose in the slot, pushed away, and Hemsky pitching it toward the line past Rozabal.
Way more battle out of Kari Lettman. It looks superb right now. Not accepting to get screened.
3 minutes left in the second period. Versteeg scrambling. Jokipaka tripped up. Throws the puck right back into the pile. Hemsky with a pass to Spezza. Guiding it over to Goligoski. Stars want to change. They'll get one. That's 2020 in a 2-0 game here for Dallas.
Hawks have started to push a little bit here in the late stages of the second. Owned by the Stars early on.
Sagan blocks the pass at center. Jordy Benn toward Jamie. Rozabal intercepts for Stieg to Bickle. Shut it down, overtaken. Demers played it out to center ice. Hjalmarsson firing it right back across. A lot of Hawks fans here. The chant off. Jordy to Jamie. Across the ice to Mers. Lead pass to Eakin. Eakin back to Demers. A shot and a save. Crawford.
You know, the Hawks are changing again on that one.
Sagan worked it. Eakin's in pursuit. Trying to take it away from Keith. Almost scored it free to Jamie Benn. They find Hossa again. Jokipaka back to handle him. Steers him to the boards, and Benn cuts off the pass for Taves. Backhands it out. But picked up some steam, and it's icing again against Dallas. 1:42 left and no timeout to spend.
Well, I'm sure Kari Lettinen's done it before, but this morning, maybe the first time I've ever seen him work with a player in front of him at the morning skate on screens and looking past it. That's what he did on this one. Down, peer through, find that puck through rather than just way out of his crease and challenging. That's good goaltending.
Vermette wins the faceoff. Sagan diving, can't get it out of the zone. Seabrook from Nordstrom. Into the corner. And Eakin whipped it out.
Boy, another really good defensive play by Jokipaka on that side to break that little cycle up. 6'3" and a long reach. That helps.
Yeah. Seabier taking the line toward Fiddler. Seabrook had Burton Fiddler. Roussel charging over there. Out of his reach at center ice. Roussel hurries back. Helps slow the Hawks. Chalmerson put it into the corner. Vermette on top. Chalmerson shot it. Tipped off Lettinen and wide. And Demers bouncing it to center ice on the backhand. Final minute of the second period. Oh! And Ben was waiting for shot. Jordy was planting him, but he's right back up. Saw it out. Chalmerson with people in front, and Roussel came out to challenge.
Demers is letting him know about it. It's like an echo of the body belt. This pair's been really good. Down the wall, waited on him. I think Shaw for a second was like, oh, he's going to go for the puck, and instead, as he's reaching for it and tipping it in, he got filled in. Seismic collision. And that ignites Stars Nation here at American Airlines Center.
Amped up building tonight. 2-0 Dallas late in the second. Versteeg keeps it in the Dallas zone. Keith bumped it over. Bickle going after the puck. Jokipaka beat him to it. Fending him off. Spezza slid it out to center ice. Roosevelt. The regroup gave it to Keith. Versteeg shoots it in. And Letton fell. Shot it to the corner. Got a little help. Eaves. Smart play to get it out. 10 seconds left in the period. Spezza will ensure Dallas taking a 2-0 lead to the break. Did we get one more face-off? No.
Well, that was a good period from the net on out. Kari was terrific, especially late. The guys in front of him were all over the Hawks for most of the first 12, 15 minutes of that period. They just couldn't add to their lead.
So the Dallas Stars, they've won 4 out of their last 5. They've won 6 out of their last 8. But they start play tonight 8 points out of the second wild card in the Western Conference. All they can do, bury their head and go. And that's what they've been doing. And tonight, against playoff-bound Chicago, the Stars have struck twice. Patrick Eaves and Tyler Sagan in the first period. Stars lead 2-0. Patrick visits with Julie at the break. Dallas Stars hockey on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Ford. It's Ford Truck, but your best in Texas Ford dealer. Visit TexasFord.com for details. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at Southwest.com. Patrick Eaves at even strength. Tyler Sagan on a power play in the first period. Second period, the Stars come up empty, and worse than that, Razor, they had more scoring chances that never found the net than we've maybe never seen.
Yeah, the net front execution. You know, some of it in the first period, but a lot, especially in the opening dozen minutes of that second period. All over the front of the net. Grade A opportunities that went for naught. Eakin had a couple. McKenzie had a couple. They're nibbling around like supermodels on a salad at the front of the net. See what they can do in the third.
Cody Eakin, one of the 3 or 4 starts without a shot on goal in the game.
But probably a half a dozen scoring chances
yes.
the way it's gone.
Sharp tried to go rink wide. Jokipaka steps up, keeping Hossa away. Will launch it in. Dallas is offside.
I think Jyrki Jokipaka has been really good tonight. He's playing with Alex Goligoski. Good on Alex to put his hand up and say, I'll go over to the right-hand side. Kid can play a strong side. But you got to remember, I mean, Jokipaka's only played half a season in the NHL. It's only his second year in North America. And he's having no problem handling the Blackhawks here tonight.
23-year-old Finn, Dallas' 7th pick. He went 191st in the 2011 draft. Goligoski, referee Tim Pugh wiping out the Dallas zone. Eakin carrying it in. Puts it back to the net. Hjalmarsson lets it go. And there's Haas to Oduya. Nemeth peers over his shoulder to keep the Chicago captain away. Gets help from McKenzie. Lost it to Versteeg. Klingberg will pick it up from Lettinen. Able to hit it cleanly up the boards. Versteeg lays it to Seabrook. Seabrook shot it. Lettinen watched it into the glove. Caught it.
Head turning all the way. It started with a real good gap play by Nemeth, but continued on. Stars had a little trouble with the puck in their own zone. Turn it back over again. Taves is coming in. There's Nemeth right in his grill. No room for him. Fights it though. Stars gain it back again. Little loosey-goosey in their own zone. They get away with it. Relatively harmless shot from distance is snared by Kari.
Brad Richards steps in, a respectable 11 goals and 35 points for Richards, who was signed in the offseason after being bought out by the New York Rangers for big dough. Colton Sevier attacking against Team, and a shot, loose puck in front. Fiddler was in check. Saad puts it back to the net. Fiddler tried to center. Sevier in, stripped it, shot it, saved Crawford. Vern Fiddler, a career-high 12 goals this season. Had 11 3 previous campaigns. Still got 10 games to go. Fiddler clunks it in deep. Brent Seabrook back to pick it up for Chicago. Seabrook co-leads the Hawks blue line with 8 goals this season. He just has 1 since December 27th. Bickle into the middle of the ice. They skip it through to Vermette. They'll shoot it on in. Demers to Jordy Ben. The defensive pairing. Eaves finds the puck, shot it, hits Hemsky. Hemsky delayed, gave it to Spezza. He collides at center ice. Teravainen powers through and finds Hemsky. Hemsky wants to shoot, can't shoot. Roosevelt had them all held up. Vermette on the wing. Bickle tried to go back to him. And then it's cleaned up by Eaves. Spezza will take it to center, shoot it in. Crawford to the left of his net. 2.5 into the third period. Here comes Roosevelt. Oduya firing it deep and around the boards. Patrick Nemeth trying to find the puck. Jamie Benn will. Passing it to Klingberg. Klingberg up ahead to Sagan. Chipping it in deep. Hjalmarsson getting there ahead of Eakin. Finding Oduya. Long toss to center. Klingberg there to intercept the pass intended for Kruger. Gave it to Ben, who shoots it in. Around the boards, Eakin kicked it deep. Nordstrom steps past him to find the puck. And Shaw surveying his options. Oduya shot it to the line. Sagan's in position. Both teams will change.
Stars have been really good in between the two blue lines. It's been really difficult for the Blackhawks to come through that area with some space or some speed.
Missed the puck along the boards. Sharp cranks it out. Hossa picking it up in stride. Hossa has a step. Backhand shot. Save Lettinen. Goligoski as the Stars go in transition. It's McKenzie shooting it in. Richie barely in there with Seabrook. Horcoff. Got a dynamo in the faceoff circuit tonight. Horcoff has. Collecting the puck in the corner after McKenzie wipes out. Lost his stick. McKenzie picks up his stick and the puck hit him in the skate. Taves rips it off the boards to the Dallas line. Jordy Ben to Jason Demers.
Right.
Demers up through the middle. Seabrook to Keith. They're together for the moment. Tried to Richards, and then Roussel took a run at Keith. Saad pursues the puck. Lettman hands it out to Demers. Hit the referee, stays in the zone, and Fiddler make sure it gets out.
Tim Peel hit a player, and now he got hit by a puck here in the third period. He tripped up on Goligoski earlier.
Rough business. Klingberg inside his own line. Turns the skates and then pitches it to Hawk. Blue Stars are offside right there. Well, tonight on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1, the NCAA tournament continues. 8 more teams are eliminated. Jay and Dan will have every highlight from every game, it says here, as the round of 32 rolls on. Plus, we'll have recaps from across the NHL and NBA as the playoffs close in. It's all tonight on Fox Sports Live.
If it was anybody else, I'd say I'd call maybe Bull on that, but they will. Those two will have every highlight.
Every highlight?
Yeah, of every game.
Of every game. That's why you got to watch. O'Duty to Bickle, trying to get behind Klingberg, who just reached around deftly, tapped it away with the stick.
Hawks are trying a lot of this stretch stuff here early in the third period. Long passes out of their own zone.
Nemeth buried his head, shot it in. Hemsky in pursuit, back of the net. Pushing off the mesh. Johnson out to center ice. And right back to it. Eves flipped with a high stick. They got it, too.
Hjalmarsson's mad. Again, I'll go on my little mini diatribe. It's a penalty. It's pure accidental, right? He clobbers Eves right on the head after Eves turns the puck over on him. Supposed to be responsible for your stick. There's no other penalty, though, that they call in our game that's an accident. You know, they let if you accidentally elbow a guy, they rarely call that. But the accidental high sticks, indeed. Stars get an opportunity here. This would be large if they could cash in on this one. The Blackhawks have received excellent net minding. They're big and they're shot block happy in front of Corey Crawford when they're killing penalties. And their top forwards are very mobile up top.
They have a power play goal tonight. They're 1 for 2. Spets out to Seguin. He's got the power play goal. He shoots again, and that hits Ritchie, goes to the corner. Spezza in check. Cleared. Ben trying to run it down with Nordstrom. Ben gets there first. Fighting him off. Walks right into Kruger, and the puck bounces to center to Seguin in stride. Over the line. Seguin can't sneak past Oduya. Ritchie seals off the clearing attempt. Ben holds the puck. Steers away, too far for Seguin, and Seabrook pitched it out off Ben. Klingberg gave him the assist earlier in the game. It was taken away. Second straight game, they initially gave him an assist and then took it away thereafter. Tonight it goes to Spezza. That's that Seguin goal from Ben and Spezza. 5 remaining on the power play. Alex Goligoski to Ales Hemsky down the wing. He likes this, tossing it back out. Goligoski firing, tip, score! Sean Horcoff!
That is a gargantuan goal. Second unit gets out here. Vern Fiddler hits the gas and barrels right to the front of the net. They take it deep, bump it back, perfect deflection, 10 feet in front. Horcoff goes all Predator after this. That's what makes it happen, though. Token resistance from Roosevelt, the defenseman. Crawford can't find it through this, can't track the deflection. It's a beauty. And the Stars have a pair of power play goals against the number 2 ranked penalty kill in the entire National Hockey League.
Sean Horcoff's 11th. Goligoski and Hemsky with the helpers. Alex has 2 assists in the game. He pulls even with the sideline. Trevor Daley with 33 points from the back end. Klingberg leads them all with 36. Timonen to Seabrook in the Chicago zone. Taves with the pass across. Timonen firing it in. Lettinen kicked it away. Taves tried to keep it waist high, bumped off the puck. Jokipaka to the line, and out to center ice it goes. Hossa shooting it in. Lettinen stops it to Jokipaka. Around the boards for Sevier. Taves off Tim Peel again. Sharp goes to the line, and Oduya can't hold it. 13:20 to play in the third period. There's 2 for 3 in the game. They were 1 for 21 at home in their previous 5 games at American Airlines Center. Spezza off Hemsky. Ricochets off Eaves and deep. Crawford out of his net. Uncertain what to do with it. Turned it over. And Hemsky in the corner. Threading it through to Demers. Off his stick. Chipped away. There goes Saad. Demers is chasing him. Saad moving in. Saad! Shot it over the top of the net. It looked like the Stars threw a stick.
This might go to center, yeah.
Penalty shot for Saad.
It was a calamity in the aftermath of tossing the stick at Saad, who has scored 4 goals in the season series. Just a miscommunication between Demers and Jordy Ben. And, boy, that's as violent as you can go into your own net, both guys. The way Kari Lettinen's rocking tonight, I'd lay my money that way. This kid Saad's just scratching the surface of his abilities. Everybody up at American Airlines Center.
Brandon Saad has 21 goals. He leads the Hawks with 6 game winners, lightly used in the shootout this year. Here he comes. Saad on a penalty shot. Fakes, and Lettinen poke checks it away.
Sends Saad talking to himself back to their bench. The naked young boys are celebrating Kari Lettinen's stoning of Saad. Lettinen's now 11 of 14 on penalty shots in his NHL career. That's pretty spiffy stuff. And did this one with facility. Good patience, closed down the 5-hole. He did the same thing on Hosa's breakaway bid back in the second period. Resets everything here. As long as Demers and Jordy Ben are okay, all good.
Deacon beats Vermette. Saw the stick in half. Big goal. The end of the stick, put it in deep. Jamie Benn puts it out to center ice. Roosevelt to Keith inside the Hawk line. 12 and a half left in the third. Stars lead Chicago 3-0. And Chicago's offside right there. So Sean Orkoff extends the lead. Kari Lettinen has made 25 stops on 25 Chicago shots. And the Stars are up 3-0 in the third.
Pristine in this one tonight. There have been some great bids by the Hawks throughout the first 2 periods and a bit now, and he's had an answer for everything. He has really tracked the puck well tonight. Good depth with his game. Big exclamation point saves on breakaways. Hosa in the second and Saad just seconds ago on the penalty shot. The Hawks have won 6 of their last 9 road games. In the 3 losses, they've been clean sheeted in each one of them. So Kari Lettinen is 12 and a half minutes away from giving them their 4th.
Everybody here is happy because fans of both teams get tacos tonight. That third period goal. That's how we do it. Paravainen slipped it up the middle. Nemeth attempted a wave. Bickle shot it over, and the Stars rally. Vermette lightly tripped. No call. Seabrook at center. Oduya. They play catch. Shot in. Bickle let it go. Loose in front for Met. Stopped by Lettinen, and then punched loose wide. Fiddler towards Sevier. Locked up along the boards, and Fiddler backhanding it over. Roussel jumps away from Seabrook and then finds him deep in the Chicago zone. Puck dribbles toward the front. That's cleared away. Now Sevier again shooting. Save Crawford.
Colton Seavier's had a good game tonight. His dad, Darren, played for the Hawks. He's had a couple setups and a couple of scoring chances.
Sharp at center. Was hurt into the wing. Jokipaka back of the net. Threw it aside. Taves. In the corner, Goligoski. Whipped it ahead to Ritchie. Now to McKenzie. Hjalmarsson deep. Hjalmarsson fighting back. Ritchie taking it away. Hawk net is rocking. It's on top of Crawford. Stars have the puck. Spezza shooting it. That's deflected into the corner. Ritchie, unshy to battle. Spezza toward McKenzie. Sharp balls. Taves takes it out. Gave it to Hossa. Jordy Ben forced him to the left. Hossa shooting. Lettinen makes the stop. He'll release it. Spezza bangs it out. It skips in at Crawford to paddle it away. Eaves was charging in after him. Eaves steals it. Eaves centers. Spezza shot. He scores!
Corey Crawford should impale Roosevelt for that pass in his own zone. Prior to all that, though, back in the Stars end of things, Kari Lettinen bails out Nemeth in front of the net. Stones Vermette on a sloppy play in front. Allows the Stars to do this. Tried to go against the grain between his legs. The defenseman did for the Hawks, and it was picked off by the pursuit of Patrick Eaves. Finds Spezza, waits a tick, and scores his first ever goal against the Chicago Blackhawks. There it is.
Number 16 on the season, and now Ben walking it in against Roosevelt. Ben shut it down deep to Sagan. Off his stick, Klingberg fired it. Ben caught it with his skates, and the knuckleball's off Tiemann, and he corrals the punt, plays to Versteeg in the Chicago zone. There's 4 goals on 28 shots on Corey Crawford. Lettinen unrelenting on 28 Chicago bids. Richards took it over. Roosevelt takes a look. Into the high slot. Oduya shot. Held by Kari Lettinen. Half a period to play in Dallas. And Jason Spezza, the latest of the Stars' 4 goal scorers in the game, has him a 4-rip over the Hawks.
Point out. Might have been icing on that one. Goaltender Crawford elected to play it. Roosevelt turned it over. Spezza found his mark, elevated it over a stunned Corey Crawford, who looks a tad bit frustrated in the Blackhawk net right now. Midway through the third period, down 4-0.
Like his team, Crawford's been on a roll lately. 6-0-1 in his last 7 decisions. Saad tried to nudge one toward the net. And Fiddler clears. They're announcing the Spezza goal in the building as Oduya fires it into the Dallas zone. Roussel unable to get it out. Nemeth backing him up, pitching it to the Chicago line.
Stars have just played with a different energy than the Blackhawks for the most part here tonight. Obviously got excellent net minding to go along with it.
Well, it's interesting, too, because you go back to that October 9th opening game. Stars had a 2-1 lead in the third. They buckled and then lost the game in the shootout. A different field tonight. They're learning. Here's Saad with a high slot. Tiemann shooting it. Versteeg centered it. And Sevier had his man Roosevelt to the net. Puck comes out of the zone. Under 9 minutes to play in the third period. Closing in on winning 6 of their last 7, 7 of their last 9. Karavainen can't shake Horcoff. He feeds McKenzie into the Chicago zone. Comes loose in the slot. And now back to the boards. Vermette sneaks out with it. Jokipaka hands it back. Jordy Ben to Horcoff at center. Protect the puck and slide it deep again. Jordy Ben taking ice. Gave it to Ritchie. He'll shoot it over. Stars will change. Duncan Keith loping his way to center. Shot hit Eaves, and Eaves trying to take it away from him. He does. Eaves gave it to Hemsky in the corner. Hjalmarsson took a whack. Karavainen held up, using the glass to put it into the scorer's table.
Been quite hushed. The members of the Hawks Nation here at American Airlines Center tonight. They have outplayed the Chicago Blackhawks here in a lot of different areas. This, special teams, one area, goaltending, another. Not that Crawford's been bad in the game. He hasn't had a ton of help. And again, the The Stars have just been on the trot in this one. Could have been a formality. Should have been like this probably after 2 periods. 4-0.
Face off in the Chicago zone. Eakin wins it cleanly to Jordy Ben. Jason Demers off the stick to center ice. Eakin chipped it over. Shaw to Seabrook. Middle of the ice. Demers, Nordstrom collide. Ben back for the puck for Dallas. The glass to the Chicago line. Seabrook to Oduya. Seabrook up ahead. Out of play off Kruger.
Trying to get through that picket fence of the neutral zone again, and that the Stars' overall defensive game has just been so much better here. They're really ossifying, if you will. You can see it with their forwards helping their defense. Their defense have been more battle-hardened in front of Kari, and when they've broken down, and they've broken down throughout the game here tonight. Yeah, him.
And it's very possible that Dallas will surpass its total in both wins and points as Hossa brings it in from last season. Shot it wide and still missed the playoffs. Everybody's better. Roosevelt, Hossa, firing, tip, save Lettinen on Sharp.
He hasn't lost a puck tonight. Lots of tricky little stuff like that to deal with. Stares it right onto his body.
Chicago's 31st shot of the game. Jokipaka passing to Sevier on the wing to Roussel at the Chicago Blue. Shoot it in. Methodical here in the third. Up 4-0 over Chicago, under 7 to play. Rosenball off Sharp. Lettinen coming out to play it himself off the boards. And Curtis McKenzie in the Chicago zone. Brad Richards shooting it in. The last goal the Hawks have scored this season, Brad Richards at Madison Square Garden the other night. Versteeg twisting away from Horkoff. Stays with it. Gamely back to the net. Takes the body. Klingberg the puck. He shot it out off Ritchie. Horkoff to center. Right the teeth at the Chicago line. Little falling stick on the ice. It's Sods. He'll go to the bench. Versteeg at center ice. They force him back. In onside as Bickle dragged the leg. Ford in the corner with Jordy Ben. Spets is in there too. In comes Brad Richards. Slid to Patrick Eaves to the line. Seabrook shot it. Lettinen came out and he outbattled Bickle for the puck. Now it's launched ahead to Eaves. Eaves firing up high. Out the center. Stars in full possession. Jyrki Jokipaka is an assist in the game. Spetsen in. Here's Oduya. Binding got it over. Stars kick it right back out.
And same thing again. D are able to stay up. Really, they just shrink that area, right? Your D are able to stay up because you've been so tactical with your positioning. And there's been this hard edge of forwards coming back and helping out. Good team D.
There's Ben. Eakin pitched it back. Jokipaka returning to Eakin. To skates and into the Chicago zone. Rosenball with under 5 to play.
They look conquered now.
Yes.
I know there's clock left. It's the old wheel spinning, but the hamster looks like it's struggling right now.
They've accepted their fate tonight. Timonen shooting it in. Lettinen setting it down and then lifting it out. Kruger lets it go. Keith standing there for it. Right back in on Kari. Again. Fiddler. Up off Keith and in. Roussel barreling in after him. Sevier around the boards. Fiddler in there with Kruger. They make Keith do a little more work. Slides to center. Kaboom. Right back in. Go get it. 4 minutes left. Horkoff to Shaw. Jokipaka got there to defend. Stars play it out.
Smart play, though. You know, up off the glass and out. Not through the middle.
3:47 left in the third period. Just a little piece of business left for Kari Lehtinen and the Stars against the Hawks.
Stars with under 4 minutes to go in regulation over the Chicago Blackhawks. Catch up on the goal scoring in the game. All Stars, obviously. You could probably do that in your mind. Yeah. Patrick Eaves opened the scoring back in the first period. Nice feed by Goligoski. First even strength goal for Eaves since the end of November. They made it 2-0 on a power play goal. Rebound, juicy one for Tyler Seguin. No scoring in the second period. A pair in the third, though. They like that end of the rink, apparently. Another power play goal. Horkoff with the deflection. And a turnover by the Hawks in their own zone. Jason Spezza finds his mark. That line with a pretty good night offensively for the Dallas Stars. Eaves with a goal and a helper. Spezza with a goal and an assist. And Hemsky with an assist. So they've been a difference maker tonight.
Roosevelt passing over to Timonen at center ice. It's Sharp flicked it over. Osa finds the puck. Taves was busting at the net. The Stars rally to defend, and there goes Seguin. One-on-one against Timonen. Timonen gets help from Sharp. Tyler put it in the corner. Shot out to center. Goligoski reinstalls for Dallas. Chicago plus 20 coming into the game tonight in third periods. Dallas has really steadied out lately, but this has been their most challenging frame of the season. They can pop it twice in the third. Taves to Sharp. Sharp shot it. Went to the corner. Oduya missed it. Taves looking for the puck. He finds Jokipaka. Spezza whips it around right to Oduya, gunning it over the top of the Dallas net. Brent Seabrook from the right point. Osa. Pocket pick by Hemsky. Shoot it out for the change. Under 3 minutes left in the third. Pickle trying to do some business down the wing. Couldn't do it. Chicago's changing, and they had to be careful there.
Stars have really trapped well with the lead here tonight. They're lying in wait, attacking, using the boards as an ally.
Steve turns it over at center. Eaves shoots it right back across. Dallas and roll over another change. Like butter. Seabrook to Versteeg. To Keith. Roussel will catch him. Stars go to work on him there. Richards forced to the line, and the Stars battle the puck out of the zone. Richards has to wait for players to clear. Bickle was a little slow gaining the line. They're offside.
I'll take this moment to invite you to join the Dallas Stars and Bud Light for a Stars Night Out. Enter for your chance to win 4 tickets to a Stars game, plus great experiences, including a behind-the-scenes look at the Stars broadcast and the frivolity that is. To enter, visit DallasStars.com/nightout.
Do they get to sit with .com?
Anything they want. We don't want to ruin the experience for them, though. So
there's that.
We'll leave it up to them.
Teravainen with a pass ahead for Met, shoots it in. 95 seconds remaining in the game. Stars hustling after pucks here in their own zone. Richie Klingberg over there. Klingberg trying to keep it along the boards for Met. Saad slips in front. Gummerson's shot went wide. Horkoff in the corner, slips free, and poked away by Nemeth. Richie corkscrewed to the ice. Klingberg has it back of the net. On his backhand, he flips it out.
This is going to be the first home victory for the Stars against a Western Conference team since January 3rd, when they shellacked the Minnesota Wild 7-1.
Under a minute remaining. Stars have the puck in the Chicago zone. Ben looking for it. Seguin firing it over the top of the net. Shaw busting it out. Seguin got back quickly. Now Jokipaka. To Ben. Away from Nordstrom and in.
That was actually the last time they won 2 in a row at home, too, isn't it? I mean, it is flabbergasting. They beat the Arizona Coyotes, and then they beat the Minnesota Wild.
And remember, we thought the Wild were finished.
That was New Year's Eve and then the first game of 2015.
Bickle firing. Jordy Ben rallies. Make sure his goaltender doesn't have to see that shot. It's out of play.
over the netting and into, I think, one of the suites. So Kari Lehtinen is going to blank the Hawks here tonight. First time he's done this since 2011. Clean this up to his left. He's full marks for this one tonight. I mean, brilliant, perfect outing by him. Leave it on Vern Fiddler to win a draw. Get out of your zone. Curry wants to have a chit-chat here.
Brad Richards trying to wreck it with Fiddler. To Lehtinen's left. Fiddler to the boards. Vern will take it into the corner. Eat it. Vern Fiddler shot it to the line. Spezza finishes. Kari Lehtinen's 5th shutout of the season, 32nd of his career with a 33-save gem against the Hawks.
Well, I mean, how many different layers to this onions from Kari tonight? Perfection, the shutout, stops a penalty shot, and gets lots of offense at the other end. Good night for everybody in Victory Green here at American Airlines Center. Wow.
Stars then have 2 wins and points in 4 of 5 games against the Hawks. Everybody else in the division they've had trouble with. But for the moment, they hang around in the Western Conference with a 4-0 win over the Blackhawks. Tonight's game produced by Jason Walsh, directed by Mark Vittorio. The associate producers are John Sponsler, Doug Foster, and Cody Eastwood. For Daryl Ray, Nick Waddle, and the rest of the crew here at the American Airlines Center, I'm Ralph Strand. Just hang in there. Post-game show's coming up now.